The Endorphin Elite 2 was already my most thrilling cushioned race day shoe, but now that version 3 has landed, it's better in almost every way that matters. The Endorphin Elite 3 is Saucony's flagship cushioned marathon racing shoe for elite runners and anyone who just wants to run as fast as they can. It's kept the IncrediRUN foam in the midsole that was found in the previous version. That's what made this shoe so special to run on, and it's kept that same DNA. And it's fixed two things that held it back, which is transition smoothness and stability. Don't get me wrong, this still isn't a stability shoe, it's very much for neutral runners, and because of a high stack and incredibly squishy, responsive, bouncy ride underfoot, if you do overpronate a lot, these probably won't be for you. Alright, let's get straight into the key specifications. They cost $290 and you'll be able to pick up a pair on June the 1st. I will let you know by the end of this review if I believe they're worth that high price tag. But bear in mind, these are race day carbon plated super shoes, so that pricing is very much in line with the competition. They weigh 7.5 ounces or 213 grams, that's for size US men's 9, my pair. That is a touch heavier than the previous version, but I don't notice it on the run. It still has an 8mm drop with 39.5mm under the heel and 31.5mm under the forefoot. The midsole is still using that incredible IncrediRUN foam. That's what gives this the special ride that it has. It's ultra soft with exceptional rebound. It's like nothing else out there on the market right now. It has a newly designed slotted carbon fiber plate for smoother, faster propulsion. That's the Speedroll. And the upper is using a racing fit engineered mesh. It's lightweight and secure. It's got reflective highlights, there's lace storage loop, finger pull at the rear, and they're just super easy to slip on, much better than the previous version. I love how moldable, sculptable, and conforming the upper is, because you have this section underneath a lacing system which is just crazy stretchy. It's this knit material, very breathable, and it just wraps to your foot. So if you have higher volume or slightly wider feet, you're going to get on really well with these. The outsole is using PWRTRAC carbon rubber compound, and there are areas of exposed foam. The sock liner or insert inside the shoe is also using IncrediRUN, and I can't seem to remove it, so it's not removable. If you've got custom insoles that you want to put in these, they're not going to be for you. When it comes to sizing and fit, they're very much true to size for me, so go with your usual US size, and you should be very happy with these. They fit a very wide range of foot shapes. If you've got narrow feet, this system does cinch down very well, but you might notice some ruffling up of this stretchy knit section over your feet. Don't worry about it, it doesn't cause any discomfort if that happens. If you've got medium feet or medium width feet, they're going to fit wonderfully. If you've got wider feet, more voluminous feet, then they'll also fit really well, because this upper conforms very well to larger foot shapes too. And that's something that's quite rare in the super shoe category. They do tend to be more snug and narrower. With the Endorphin Elite 3, they're going to suit a lot more foot shapes, and that's what's going to make this one more accessible. Midfoot lockdown, heel lockdown are all fantastic. If you do have narrow heels, there is an extra eyelet at the top to be able to give you an even more secure lockdown at the heel. But personally, I've got medium width feet and I haven't had to use that eyelet at all. Lockdown has just been really good. Super comfortable as well, because there is a nice amount of padding on the inside at the heel counter, so that sits nice and softly on your Achilles. And the tongue conforms, wraps around the top of your foot really nicely. Although it's thin, there's no lace bite from this either, because it all just fits like a sock. You don't have to have your laces done up that tight. If you're enjoying this review so far, please give a video a like. I always say it, but I always mean it. It really helps me out on my channel. It makes me look really popular too. And if you've had experience running in these shoes, I want to hear it. That's really going to help me understand how you've been using it, but also is going to help others who visit this channel, the subscribers. It's going to help them decide whether or not these are going to be the racing shoes for them or not this season. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell, and I'll see you on the next review. All right, you made this my performance review. I'm going to start by talking about the ride, because that is what isn't quite quantifiable when looking at specs on paper. This is incredible. It is really the most fun experience in a super shoe that you can get right now. It's really like nothing else out there right now. The first few strides you take on these can be a little bit disorienting because they do propel you forward, they bounce you forward in a different way to a more traditional racing shoe. And that's mostly because of this IncrediFoam and just how responsive it is, but also how squishy and soft underfoot it is. You can get lots of plush, squishy midsole foams, but they don't give back. They just allow you to sink into them, and they give you a nice protective, sluggish ride, but they don't bounce back and they don't propel you forward. This is something else. When running in them, it just feels like you're running in low gravity because of just how soft it is and how much it gives back. And then you pair that with the carbon fiber plate. That just helps give you more propulsion and forward motion. It helps you store that energy on your stride and translate it into propulsive forward motion. What I like about the foam and the geometry, well, firstly, it has much better transition or roll than it did previously. If you look at the previous one here, you can see it's got this cutout here, and it just, although it felt really amazing and also like nothing else, well, it's got this cutout here and it just felt a little bit disjointed from heel or midfoot landing to toe takeoff. The new version is just more cohesive, there's no cutouts, and to me it just feels a lot smoother. It also adds a little bit of extra stability to the ride. And having a smoother transition or roll just means your feet are less fatigued over longer distances and when you finish your run. And that's something I really like about this. I don't feel like I'm overworking my muscles as much as I would on a more traditional racing shoe, like some of these up here, where you're really struggling to flex that stiff carbon plate that might be in there. This, you're getting a lot of the propulsion from the foam as well as the plate, and that kind of just mitigates that stress on your feet, making it a lot more comfortable over longer distances if you are going to be running a marathon in these, which I highly recommend. So in short, it now feels less pogo stick and more forward smooth propulsion. It's just more refined. I know a lot of people already love the Endorphin Elite 2, but you're going to notice these improvements, and you're definitely going to notice it on longer runs, or if you are going to be trying to really pick up the pace. That smoothness is just going to make the efficiency of the shoe feel so much better. It also feels more planted now. Don't get me wrong, this isn't a stability shoe. Most race day shoes are not stable, and you really don't want to be landing at your heel on a race day shoe for the most part, because that's where there's most foam, there's more stack height, and if you are going to be running in a max cushioned racing shoe like some of these up here, then you're going to notice instability because you're going to wobble at the heel. They're usually quite narrow as well, but in comparison this one has a wider footprint, so you do inherently get more stability at the heel, and generally all the way across the shoe, whether you are landing more towards your forefoot, midfoot or heel. So that's really good, but the geometry has also been improved, and that slotted carbon fiber plate makes the shoe just feel more stable than previously. The sweet spot for me in terms of distance with this shoe would be anywhere from 10 kilometers all the way up to marathon, and for those runners who have, for the most part, a neutral gait, if you have mild stability issues, I wouldn't worry about it too much. But also if you land more towards your midfoot, that's where this one initiates best, and you're going to get the most efficient ride, fun experience from it. Moving on to the upper, it's incredibly breathable like it was previously, but it's just more refined. Again, it just fits better. There's no hot spots or anything like that. Conforms well to your feet. So if you do have wider or higher volume feet, you're going to get a really nice wrap and it's going to feel very secure on your feet with no energy lost from any slippage at the heel or the midfoot. Breathability in a racing shoe is very important for me because I'm going to be going really high intensity and my feet do tend to heat up a lot on the run in those situations. I just run hot. So I like to have a nice breathable mesh upper in those circumstances, and this one hits the mark. There's also a little lace garage up here, really nice. So all sounds pretty good so far, right? Well, yes, for the most part, this is the best racing shoe you can buy right now. But there are some things you do need to be aware of. It's not perfect, nothing's perfect in this world, and wouldn't it be a boring world if everything was perfect? Yes, it would. So first thing I have to call out is the outsole. For the most part, durability is good in the high contact wear zones where you're most likely to get contact with the ground. They're the nice yellowy lime green color rubber compound that you see. Durability of that compound is very good, but there's a lot of exposed foam as well. And I'm already seeing quite a bit of wear on there where it has made contact with the tarmac and concrete sections. So just be aware of that. It's going to look scuffed. It's going to look like it's been worn a lot fairly soon, but it doesn't really affect performance that I've experienced so far because most of my ground contact does come in the areas where there's protection. So just be aware of that. I wouldn't worry about it though. It's not a deal breaker for me. And then the final thing is the noise. It's a little bit weird. Some race shoes do this, the ones that compress a lot in the midsole. You get this strange sound. Can you hear this? It's I'm not sure how to describe it, a squeaky pop. All it is the foam compressing, creaking on itself a little bit, and then when you you move a little bit on the ground because no gate is perfect, it just creaks and squeaks a little bit. Granted, it gets a lot better. After my first run, I kind of didn't notice the more obvious squeaks. And to be honest, I was a little bit self-conscious at first, sort of running past people with this funny noise at my feet. But then halfway through my run, I was having so much fun, I really just didn't care. So that's it. 2 things to be aware of, and the benefits of this shoe far outweigh those. They're not deal breakers at all, but things you should know before buying. If you want to know where I have ranked these on my best carbon plated race day super shoes roundup, well, head over there, follow that link. That'll take you to my roundup. Always updated as and when I review new racing shoes. If they're good enough, they make it on that list. The races on that list are separated into 2 categories, the max cushion ones and the slightly lower to the ground, more planted, more lightweight ones, which are a little bit more stable and more approachable for shorter distances. Definitely check it out. That'll help you find the right ones for you. Well, it's time to cast my verdict on whether or not they're worth $290. That's a lot of money, and although it is quite expensive, in my opinion, there's nothing else quite like it out there right now. It's incredibly unique, and the ride experience is just so fun that I think it's worth just paying that price tag just to make running feel so weightless, bouncy, fun, and just like you're running on the moon. It really is that incredible, and for anyone looking for an experience like that, you have to try them out. So yes, for me, they're worth that price tag. They're definitely my favorite cushioned marathon racing shoes right now for all the reasons I listed in this review. If you've got any questions at all, maybe I missed something, drop it in the comments down below. I reply to everyone, so your comment time will not be wasted. And if you didn't before, make sure you subscribe. This is your second chance. Subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, and I'll see you on the next review. Peace.